Well, hello everybody. Phil here from the Blue Envelope channel. So I wasn't planning on making this video, but I finally found this Jehovah's Witness poem that I've been looking for literally years and years. And finally ran across it on the internet. It's called A Mother's Thoughts. Just to give a little background, my dad, I think, was one of the better public speakers among Jehovah's Witnesses. And so we would go out at least once or twice a month for him to give public talks. And one of the talks he gave quite often was about family life and children. And during this talk, he would always read this poem. So I heard it literally dozens of times growing up and made a huge impact on me. I asked him a few years back for him to send it to me, and he wouldn't. And I finally ran across it because probably at least half the lyrics are burned into my brain, and by typing enough of them in, I found it on the internet. So I thought we could just check it out here. It's there's no author attribution, of course, because to put your name to it would not be displaying humility. But the title is A Mother's Thoughts, and this is how it goes. It's 2 weeks after Armageddon. All contacts with the faithful brothers worldwide have been made, and it's now a time for rejoicing. As I gaze upon this field before me, which just 2 weeks ago was the site of an awesome display of Jehovah's power, I think back to the time when you were born, and how we prayed that you would one day honor Jehovah, that you would serve the brothers, go to Bethel, Gilead School, something special. So we worked and prayed continually. How we rejoiced when you began to read and write and comment at the hall. And oh, how we swelled with joy and pride when you were only 9 years old and gave your first talk. But then you went to high school, and we entered our darkest period ever. Discipline and punishment didn't seem to work anymore. We checked the publications and chalked it up to your trying to establish your independence. But then it turned into outright rebellion. I would say, "Why don't you study?" And you would say, "I want to be with my buddies." I would say, "How about the preaching work?" And you would say, "I'll feel like a jerk because we'll see some of the kids from school when I'm out in the work." I'd pray, I'd cry, and I'd ask Jehovah why. The more I insisted, the more you resisted. Then you began to lie, cheat, and deceive, denying all the training that you had received. You absorbed the world's views, its music, its recreation, its language and standards, its bad association. You totally succumbed to its overwhelming coercion. In fact, you became a completely different person. Then you decided that you had grown up and were ready to spend some time on your own. I asked, "How will you make it, and who will provide?" You said you had some friends on your side. So you left. This was extremely painful, and we saw that Satan had won. But we hoped and we hoped you'd be like the prodigal son. But alas, it was not to be. For now you are gone, never to return. Do you remember the other young ones whom you used to call square? They're here now, enjoying Jehovah's blessings everywhere. And the other ones you used to enjoy being around, you know, the cool ones, they're nowhere to be found. Well, it's getting late, and I'm afraid I must go. We must plant our seeds so our garden will grow. But just one more thing you said that I remember. You said it a year ago, last September. You said, "I can take care of myself, come snow, sleet, or rain. And besides, if I die, I'll feel no pain." And you know, son, it's funny, but no matter how hard I try, as far as feeling pain, neither do I. So that is the Jehovah's Witness poem, A Mother's Thoughts, that I heard so often growing up. I think it's just such an interesting glimpse into Jehovah's Witness thinking and culture. And looking at it now, it just gives you such a view of so much empathy for PMO teenagers. I mean, I was late 20s, early 30s by the time it finally clicked that this organization wasn't everything it was cracked up to be. And I'm so impressed by these kids, 13, 14, 16 years old, and they have it figured out already at that age, and how tough a road it is for them to take a stand for what they believe in. It's funny because the kids, the young people that are willing to take a stand for what their beliefs are often cast as the black sheep of the family, the bad ones. And on the other hand, the kids that on the surface seem to be doing everything right, and yet maybe doing lots of stuff that wouldn't go by Jehovah's Witness standards, doing that on the down low, they're praised for their actions. It's kind of interesting how that works out. Another thing that jumps out at me from this poem is the intense pressure that Jehovah's Witness parents are under. So many things in the religion are black and white, and we can see that this is too as far as raising children. You're either a success or you're a failure. And the criteria isn't whether your kids are happy and healthy and fulfilled and self-actualized. The only criteria is, do they stay in the religion of Jehovah's Witnesses or not? And if they don't, no matter how many good things you did as a parent, you were a failure. And that last part always jumps out at me about the mother saying, as far as feeling pain, neither do I. The way I kind of think of it nowadays is, as an kind of an analogy, is imagine if there was a guy, a sociopath in the neighborhood, and he kidnaps a mother and her small children and then murders the children in front of the mother. So she has to watch that, which, by the way, in Watchtower fiction, it's always where the parents are in one spot, the faithful parents, and then the wicked, rebellious kids are off somewhere else doing their own thing. But realistically, many families would be together at Armageddon, and so the parents would have to watch their children be killed right in front of their eyes, and that would be their last memory of those children. So, but anyways, yeah, so you have this guy, he murders the children in front of the mother, and then keeps her captive in the house for the rest of her life and demands that she worship him for doing that to her children. So she has to do that every day. And also, by the way, just to help so she isn't horrified and doesn't mind that he did that, he's going to lobotomize her and cut out those parts of her brain that had the love and affection for her children, so that now when her children are brought up, she's just like catatonic. She has no emotion or feeling toward them whatsoever. So that's kind of, in essence, what the hope of Jehovah's Witnesses is around Armageddon and their children. Kind of messed up when you think about it that way. But anyways, that is the poem, A Mother's Thoughts. I'm so happy that I finally found it. And I was super curious, like, did anybody else hear that poem as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and what do you think about it? So share your comments below. Subscribe if you like, and thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.